Hopefully the boss will not troll me this time, and he will not deep underground.
That dreamed we in nightmare.
Oh, curse.
That
Lance. Voltaic Mark. Double this.
of the broken
And now we blood hunt him and he's dead. So I built from one-shotting the bosses to one-shotting the whole map with one spear throw. Well, there's one more thing that this build does very well. Kills everything, whatever hits you. So it's kind of a taunts, I'd say, style of a thing. But yeah, anything hitting you is kinda just sentencing itself to be just fucked. Like it's not much to be done or said or shown here. Anything that hits you is kinda, yeah, done for. So you can just basically face tank the map without really any evasion, any armor stacking, and any energy shield stacking. All you need to be happy is some HP and everything should be fine. You can always just help yourself by throwing the spear, but that's a minor thing. Well, maybe it's not so minor once you go into Simulacrum and you realize that monsters hitting you, they're just gonna die. So that's when it gains the most value out of it and Simulacrum stops being any difficult anymore. Isn't that silly? And the best part is, the bosses ain't really a problem either. Oh look, they spawned just to get despawned. So to everyone who didn't see the build yet, I hope you enjoyed the quick showcase, cause I know that everyone who's seen the build already, or even better, tried it, I know that you're loving it. Cause the amount of positive feedback I'm getting for this one is actually quite overwhelming and I love every single bit of it. But there's one important thing that I have to go over at first this time, and that is gear. I saw people trying to copy me one-to-one and, well, that is pointless. All you need to worry about is to have some melee ranks, some flat damage on your gear, and that's pretty much it. On purpose, I showed it to you in bad gear with no stacked evasion like this, that you can tank everything while everything hitting you dies. And that is with completely bad gear. If you don't have that much currency, just focus on having items with maximum life. Don't focus on energy shield, which is the best option in my opinion for defense, but it is also the most expensive. Since it's the best, everyone wants it, so the price goes up. It's very simple. So what you saw me using was this helmet because I really wanted to mess around with it. I really like the HP bars going green with it, and that is pretty much the only reason that I was using it at first. But then I realized if you don't finish off the boss, it becomes quite nice piece for bossing, because the amount of poison it applies after expiring your bleed is quite significant. Especially because we aim to get magnitude of ailments on our jewels, which greatly increases all the ailments we do. So if we ignite and poison with our blood hunt by expiring the bleed, the amount of damage that it will scale those two, ignite and poison, is quite significant. And now for the gear, we're gonna start with the ring slot rings, cause it brings a lot of confusion. You don't need them. They are good, really good, if you get them when you have really bad gear, cause then you can use Trinity and Elemental Conflux. But if you have good gear, you don't need those two. You can just use any other ring, for example Breach Ring, which gonna give you just more damage by baseline, aka like if you had buffs. I just always really wanted to use Trinity and Conflux, that's why I keep using the same rings. I mean, most of my gear is literally the same as you saw in the first video, so, well, that's how little you need gear. There was no upgrades done, I just didn't. All I did is whittle my ring. I think I also tried to divine it a couple of times, but well, 2 whittles and I removed the completely bad stuff from it for rarity and dexterity, and that's the same ring. I just tried to fracture it and well, it didn't go my way, so I'm gonna just keep it as it is. As you can see, I clear everything. I clear full party, Uber boss on tier 4, so there is no reason for me to make any upgrades other than the defensive part of them. I also have still same amulet. as I whittled it for the lowest spirit. I keep it, didn't really change it. The helmet, it's so far from what I really want on the helmet, but it has decent evasion, so I just kept it. But I'd rather have some critical chance on it, but it will do for now. And since I got that helmet, I swapped the boots I was using a bit before with double stats, so I can get some more evasion and get some decent numbers on the evasion. I still have the same gloves, still a bit annoyed by the leech on them, but it is what it is. I have ingenuity belt, I just swapped to one with cold dress, cause as you can see 68 still don't have what I need. Chaos, still a problem, cause as I'm saying, this helmet, these boots are a far cry from what I need, because I need them with chaos as well. So that's at least 20 chaos each, 40. So that slowly comes together, right? Like, I'd rather not have the rarity, because recently I'm playing with a friend that's a rarity bot, so the rarity completely here useless. I'd rather have chaos here, but it is what it is. But in a perfect world, if you played solo, you would rather keep the rarity here, because you need the flat damage on the prefixes, so the slots are taken. And same goes here, would be nice to drop the int a bit, get the rarity, or put it somewhere else. And I still use the calamity. I have the fox in its socketed, but I don't think it's the best thing. I just paid a lot for them before the changes, so I'm keeping that, because I just paid a lot for the sockets. But I'd be probably way better off even with maximum HP here, but those gonna stay for now. And I kinda don't mind them, I like them, because like the quality of skills is really nice. But I do believe it has way more value once you can get it on Morior, so you can get 10% of it. But for now, this didn't change. I just corrupted it for the third socket, I was quite lucky with it, and I'm staying with the Calamity. I upgraded Tangle Toe from this one actually, from 21.58 to not even full 1% more, because my friend got it, I got a good price, I just took it, why not? Way easier to get my 100% crit that I really want. The socket's far cry from the best, of course the critical damage is better, but I was messing around with Trinity, so well, that's why I have lightning damage. And as I keep saying, the damage, the min max on it, it really doesn't fucking matter. You will have damage for days, it will be the least of your worries in this build. I still have the same flasks, as I said before, 120 charges is the comfortable amount, you don't pay much for them. You don't need the min-maxed, it's barely any changes more if you have the min-maxed. And we need them because of the super gems on Rake, of course. I have normal charms, which just guard during the effect. The chaos rest, it's like obvious in my case, I have no chaos. You could use rarity one instead the chaos one. Up to completely what you have on your gear. What it matters is for the charms to fit your playstyle, what you currently have on you. So the guard is probably the best effect though, that's why I'm using it as well. I had to get new sceptre, I got it with same numbers though, but it's a new sceptre. I tried to corrupt mines for spirit, got reduced attributes requirements, so it is what it is. Sold it for 30, bought this for 45. So I bait 15 to get extra 16% spirit, and it's completely all consumed. So if you want to have the combo with Conflux, Trinity and all that good stuff, and by good stuff I mean the supports. And since I'm already at it, let's go over the supports, the most asked questions, what I have in the heralds, because the mobalytics didn't copy it, although it should be fixed now. Well, Herald of Thunder is basically turned into something that freezes for the obvious reasons, and it also has Ice Bite and Innervate for the overall buff. The Embitter to convert all the extra damage into cold, so we have the easier freeze, and I have blind on it. Basically because why not? Those were supposed to be only here due to passives to get our 50% buff to each of the elements. But since we still have them, I just made them as a utility tools. Herald of Ice has a bit of damage, and I put for fun the Searing Flame, the Frostfire, and why? Mainly because I just wanted to mess around by having all the elements, all the ailments. You can just put whatever you want, it doesn't really matter. You could have this empty, as long as this provides you buff to lightning, to cold, that's all you really need. But if you really want to put something in here, well, Blind Sight, Deadly Herald, anything you really want. It can use Fiery Death, like really, you can use them completely the way you want. It doesn't really matter what you have on them. They will do damage, they will kill for you anyway. So what you put here is completely up to, I'd say, quality of life or utility part of your build. Nothing matter. If you want to make them full damage, go for it. But it's really, like, the damage is already, in my opinion, not only enough, it's way too much. The purity of fire still is a placeholder. You put anything spirit required here, so it doesn't consume the spirit. You get them for free till they patch it. When they patch it, well, this is not really needed. You really don't want to go low life. This really not needed. All you want is to support yourself with life remnants. Same goes for this one. And so this remains as the only thing that you would consider having. 10 spirit, so not that big of a deal if you really need to put it in. Spear stab, double time from both weapon sets, spear throw as well, raise shields. All that I have here does not matter in the slightest. I keep them, like, you can consider it extra back slots. In case I ever wanna test something, try something, mess around for the builds that I make, this is where I put my skill gems, because look how much I already have to have in the back. All the stuff for the boxes, omens, and waystones. That is way more than I want to, so putting support gems in the back is completely off the table. I have them here, and I kinda love the fact that spear gives you basically 2 skills per each spear, plus you have shield, so you can perfectly socket all of that stuff in there instead of your back. Oh my god, I forgot in the gear part about the shield, because I have shield, this one, specifically because it has increased skill effect duration. That's all. You just put it to have longer skill duration, because you throw your curse off of weapon set too. And that's all. That's all that matters. You don't need the shield with elemental exposures if you're using Calamity, because Calamity just removes resistances from like equation, so do not worry about that. And here we have a bit of changes, because I realized Lightning Spear doesn't need damage, we don't need damage overall, damage is too much. So I put full quality of life into it. More attack speed, more chaining, aka killing more enemies in one throw, twofold, that's also killing more enemies in one throw, also damage, this pure quality of life, that it leaves us more frenzy charges, and also kills more at the one throw. One spear clears map, whole screen, and even further beyond. But when it comes to Rake Blood Hunt, well, this is where the damage matters, so this is where we focus all the damage. Our Rake has all this new stuff, Ambrosia and Concord, for consuming our flask charges, to greatly empower it. It also gonna have deep cuts, because obvious reasons, that's our bleed apply, the big bleed apply. So of course it has 75% magnitude of bleeding, and well, that's even more with this one. Overextend, well, we just press it once whenever there is a boss, so you don't really have to worry about the daze effect or anything like that. All you have to worry about is that beautiful 30% more critical damage bonus. Basically more means 790, without it we have 608. That is a huge increase. And now for the last one, momentum, since it just synergizes perfectly with the quality that we add on the Rake, deals additional damage based on the distance traveled, same applies here. So just perfect synergy here. For the Blood Hunt, I'm not even entirely sure yet if the lacerate is needed here, but well, you could just take it off completely and use 4 supports, doesn't matter. That ability scales mainly off of the Rake, but I left this just in case it applies the bleed and instantly consumes it, because that would even add greater amount of burst damage. Same goes for Elemental Focus, Primal. I had Primal before on the Spear, but no needed. I don't even need it. I honestly am completely not sure if I need any damage here at all whatsoever. But I just keep the physical skills level, the more area damage, cause why not? Honestly, like, why not? It's like the Jeweler Orb now drops like crazy, so it doesn't really matter. Like, just get some damage, have some fun. And Infernal Cry, purely to empower Rake, very important to get it properly done. I have Ingenuity here, because I also have Second Wind here. I double press it, so I don't have to stand in Orb of Storms. I press it once, the second time, just to get the first rage off of it. Then we're gonna consume the rage to get stronger empower. That's pretty simple. And for our curse, I personally use Temporal Chains, but you can use any curse you want. All that matters is for the curse to aggravate our bleeding, as we have this stated in our ascendancy passive points. We only need a curse to aggravate the bleeding, period. And the way I do it, ritualistic curse, heightened cursed, expanse, magnified effect, and of course cursed ground. So I just put it before the boss even starts and I have to worry nothing about it. It's gonna remain here, the boss gonna get raked, instantly aggravated, perfect. But remember, I will say that one more time, the choice of your curse is completely personal preference. I like the bosses slowed, so I use the slow curse. You want them to do less damage? You use Enfeeble. Very simple. You wanna use Blasphemy? Well, as long as you have enough spirit or you pass on Trinity, then use Blasphemy. Doesn't matter. What matters is to have the curse to aggravate bleeding or have any other source of aggravating bleeding, but on that a bit later. Stormlands and Voltaic Mark. Those together, they are very important before you have the gear. Once you have the gear, you can skip all the biggest damage amplifiers, or if you wanna kill the boss in party, then you need the damage amplifiers. But once you're solo, full geared, you can forget about those. But if you wanna flex in front of your friends, or just simply don't have the gear yet, Stormlands is here to empower your damage, and same goes for Voltaic Mark. You use Voltaic Mark the boss, you throw the Stormlands on the ground, we have salve on it, so you're always gonna have all of them, the highest chance to get the shock. This also increases the chances to get shock, this also increases the chance to shock, and this increases the magnitude of our shock. The one empowers the other, very good. We have the duration, so the Lodge Spear stays longer on the ground, and well, we just put this. We wait for the boss to be attackable, and we Voltaic Mark him. I use passives on weapon set 2 for a stronger Voltaic Mark, so the way I do it is I put the curse off of weapon set 2, I go weapon set 1 for the Stormlands, and I swap to weapon set 2 to put the Voltaic Mark, because it's way stronger in it. And then the Rake will automatically swap to weapon set 1 and kill the boss. But since I have a lot of more duration in the weapon set 2, I don't mind to press the Infernal Cry in it, and then I go to my Rake. Perfect combo execution like that. And well, for Trinity, I have +1 corruption on it. We have +2 from supports. And why +2 from supports? Because if we put another one, it changes nothing, 7%, 7%. But if we take this one, 6%. If we take this one, still 6%. That's why we need perfectly level 23 to get the 7%, and that's all you need on Trinity. On Elemental Conflux, every single one gonna add you 1%. So, well, we only have one left for it. So it's just +1% to it. You can put any of these in any other skill. It doesn't really matter that much. But if you wanna put any in Trinity, you better get the corruption. So you can put 2 of them to get the 7%. Otherwise, there is not gonna be a point, especially after the changes to it. So you need level 23 for the 7%, or just don't bother putting anything there and keep it on 6. For Wind Dancer, I have Break Armor. It's completely utility again. It kills stuff because of how broken the build is, right? But it's utility. But whenever something hits me, it's usually like full HP, right? So I want it to bleed. It will also get ignited. This will consume rage if possible, aka if you use this, for example, you will get rage when you take fire damage from hit. But let's be real, it's not really important. All of this, not really important. What I'd say important, maybe first blood, maybe close combat. I have fiery death here because it ignites, but it's because I have like the triple flat everywhere, the scepter, a lot of fire damage. So, well, more damage to the elemental, more chance for it to apply its ailment. And combat frenzy is for the lightning spear, for the clear, frenzy charges plus lightning spear, big win. That's simple equation here. It just adds so much damage, so much split, aka multi-killing, splitting, cleaving, however you wanna call it. It just makes the whole screen go boom. So I also have profusion, of course, on it, and that's all we really have to worry about. You don't need any sniper mark. You can put it though, like instead of Voltaic Mark, you could honestly put cast on critical, sniper mark and Voltaic, although, as I'm saying all the time, doesn't really matter. It will you though, so be careful. I have it like this, but if you wanna tinker anything with the build, feel completely free to do so. The build, by a baseline, has so much damage, as long as you have triple flat and proper ascendancy points, and semi-proper passives, because you can also mess around with them. It should shrek everything you come across in the game. And now for the ascendancy points. And be careful here, because it's really important. The way it is set now is not that relevant. What is relevant is to have this. This is the build enabler. I saw someone having issue of not doing bleed damage because he didn't have this. You don't have blood barbs, you don't do fuck all. You need blood barbs. This is the main thing here, right? I have this, some defense, and I have this besides blood barbs, of course, gore spike, critical damage per 40 life. You can put the other points, the complete, like, just do whatever you want with them. But you need this. This is the only important must-have thing on the Ascendancy for Blood Mage. This is the whole Blood Mage bleed thing. You need blood barbs. Now for the passives, and take it with a grain of salt, because I'm still tinkering with them, but that's on the very end of the passive. Once you get 98, that's when you have those 5 points that I still tinker with. And basically we start like this, because we have to go here. There's like too much spell damage. If you use the Coral Circlet, maybe. But for now, we go to the right side, ASAP, and we just go here with the weapon set 2 to get the size of the curse and to get the duration for the curse. We grab this here, attack speed and dexterity and int. Well, so we also gonna grab those, obviously, crit chance, the essence of the storm. I like it for the chance to shock and extra lightning, completely not needed, completely to 3 points, up to your personal preference. I go here, depending if you need crit or not, you pick either of these here, but basically this cluster is really good, you just grab it on the way kinda, so kinda a must, it's just too close to good cluster. I grab jewel socket here, I grab jewel socket here, just because I wanna extend for weapon set 2, and you cannot grab jewel sockets with weapon sets, so I had to grab the socket to get the even more duration here. But also personal preference, to be fair, so much you can tinker. Like, also this doesn't really matter, I use evasion, so I go here, you use energy shield, there's no point for you to go here then. What's important is this cluster, a lot of crit chance, crit damage, I just don't put this point, it's just 10%, I can make better use of the 1 point. We also use Calamity because of this cluster here, so if you have Calamity, I'd heavily suggest you using this. If you wanna use Heris, for example, which is a very good alternative to Calamity for a crazy amount of defense, especially if you stack evasion, well, it always adds some cold damage as well, so, you know, there is an option. But with the Calamity, I highly suggest getting the 50%. It's 3 points, and it's straight up damage, damage, and damage. And a lot of it. And we have all the heralds. So I'd say Calamity equals this is a must. Then I'm gonna go here, cooked, crazy amount of crit damage, so of course we're gonna pick it. Elemental damage here, and that also enables you to have the charm thingy set up, the going for auto charms, if you know what I mean. We also gonna grab the evasion and movement speed, as I'm stuck in it. Sooner or later I'm probably gonna grab this, because it's movement speed, and thinking also to swap couple of points, like to be exact 5 points away from here after I get energy shield. Those are 4, I know, but I will put them here and I will put them here because it's skill speed and it's movement speed, and main reason is movement speed, but I don't know yet. I'd say that's like the non-important part. What is the important part is weapon set 2 here. To get the critical damage with spears here, we just go to damage, crit hit chance into crit damage. Pure value nodes, and we're gonna grab those, and I might also use those instead, the ones with movement speed, since there's a lot of bleeding going around here, and I want to drop using the curse to aggravate, since I also have a very interesting megalomaniac that gives me internal bleeding, so I would have basically 50% chance already to aggravate bleeding. But I'm still really not sure what I wanna do with the aggravate. Maybe I just keep on using the curse. We will see about that. You can just follow my stream, tune in to see, to ask questions, if anything. And then I should have an answer in maximum of a week from now. Because I really still tinker around and I wanna get the comfortable feel of it. But those nodes, really important. Damage faster, and this is why I don't know if I want to go here or those, because there is also a very interesting node here. 10% faster and lots of magnitude before. So, well, deal damage faster is really nice. And duration of damaging ailments, very nice. Increase damage, that's like irrelevant. What we need is the duration. We could grab quick 2 points. I mean, to be fair, let's just focus on this. You could grab this temporarily. I don't really feel these nodes, because you kind of get just the chance is irrelevant, so you only get 6% node. That is not that much value node, because if you see here, you literally have more from that one node and you get this node for free. So I really don't know what I feel about this cluster. I see people picking it. I really don't like it myself. What I like is this one. Lots of crit hit chance to guarantee ourselves crit, and lots of magnitude of non-damaging, but we want that because we want to have 100% shock, because 100% shock will increase the first hit which Rake scales off of, and then it increases all the way down our bleed, and then it also increases our bloodhound expire and all the ailments that bloodhound will expire off of if it doesn't kill, which is very rare and only happens when I try not to kill that target to show you like the ignite or poison on the stream. Otherwise, it just explodes stuff. And now, since I really wanted to grab a socket and wanted some stats from before, I started to do a little attribute stack, but you don't really need that. You gotta keep it in mind. This is if you have gear with attributes, and I have it, and I really like it, because Jack of all trades actually gives so much damage. So that also enables you to use Astra Mentis for everyone asking. And that leaves us with jewels. And this is very important, because jewels are still broken. There's just less sockets for them, but they are still very, very broken. So let's start from nothing diamond. I have mind over matter, and I pick all 3 big nodes here. Stone charge, breaking point, and all natural. The elemental damage resistances, beautiful. Crit chance, and 40 increased elemental damage, beautiful. And same goes for that one. Duration of elemental ailments, irrelevant, maybe a little bit, but 10%, let's say irrelevant. But it's 1 point for another 30 magnitude of non-damaging, aka shock. So that's all that matters. One of the most value nodes we can get, mind over matter. And let's now move towards our megalomaniac, because what I have is lasting trauma. So see, we have couple of nodes that are very far that we cannot really get normally by going like it's just completely out of the way. So what we focus on is overwhelming strike. Internal bleeding is not the focus. I just had it with what I focus on, which is lasting trauma. And there is a couple of good nodes like barbaric strength, for example, like overwhelming strike. So that's what you wanna get on either Anoint or the Megalomaniac. One of these 3 is pretty good pick. But if you would, for example, get lasting trauma and the overwhelming strike that we have anointed, that would be beautiful. Because then you would just simply anoint yourself with barbaric strength. But that's just an example of how you wanna deal with Megalomaniac. Because getting those same ones as I do to copy 1-to-1 is so impossible. Imagine if I had triple stat. There's so little like RNG you can get to get the same one, that you just have to focus on getting one value, which is, for example, that lasting trauma, and one that is not completely useless. So something like with flails or something completely irrelevant to the build. So when you look at something like internal bleeding, you see empowered attacks, aka attacks with Infernal Cry, deal increased damage. And you can aggravate bleeding. So that instantly shows you that it has value to the build. So that is all you can get off of the Megalomaniac unless you invest lots of divines. And now, luckily we are left only with the normal jewels. I'd only recommend you using heroic jewel if you really want to. In this slot actually, it's a really good slot for it, to turn your intelligence into evasion. But that's only if you really struggle to stay alive, which you shouldn't. But that's an option of another unique jewel, but way better option using normal jewel. And what you want on the normal jewel, you need to guarantee it has magnitude of ailments, because it covers everything, which is the magnitude of bleed. So damaging magnitude only affects bleed, but this one also gonna affect shock, and shock also gonna increase your bleeding and everything else. So the magnitude of ailments is better. And then I probably have one perfect example of a jewel, and I think it was this one. This is the perfect thing you want. Double critical damage, magnitude of ailments, and some flat damage. So that's perfect example of one insane jewel. You could also have damaging ailments, instant damage with spears, but you can't have everything unless unless you have budget of Elon Musk, you know. So what you wanna get mostly is double crit damage, a must is magnitude of ailments, and then you can have actually like this one, the duration of ailments is kinda burst for us, because you're gonna have longer bleed, which you're gonna expire with Blood Hunt. So it kinda translates into more burst via Blood Hunt, because it's gonna expire something that lasts longer, so it would do more bleeding. Very simple. And you can also get something like Herald skills. This is just the same thing as Megalomaniac. I have 3 things I want, and one that's not completely useless for the build. I think I had a corrupted jewel somewhere, but maybe this one's a better example even. I want damage, critical damage, and magnitude of ailments, and attack speed is just somewhat useful for the build. So that's why I use this jewel. Same goes for jewels like this one, the corrupted one I have. Yeah, so it corrupted and added me an extra effect. So I have magnitude, critical damage, flat damage, and I have some lightning damage and chance to pierce, which are not completely useless. I just currently don't have a socket for it. I could have if I took the evasion out, but for now it's gonna do well. And here, also same idea. Magnitude of ailments, critical damage, and something that's not completely useless for the build. I'd say those 2 are for sale. I'm gonna use the video to get some divines. Actually, those 2 are for sale. Well, price is -10 to the cheapest one you could find. And jewels are one of the best source of damage. And so are the melee ranks and flat damage. I'd say flat damage, if you can get tiers like this, is a bit better than just the 2 melee skills if you would have to have like only 2 flat damages on it. I'd say triple flat damage everywhere, just because it also gives you more chance to proc and all of that, and it will also work for spear, which is the main idea of the build, to not change anything for the boss, to always be able to go either boss. You could, like, basically the idea is that you can do boss, uber boss of course, then map, then boss, then map, no changing. There is no changing that is allowed into my build, because I am just too lazy. I don't want it. I want it all combined, 1 giga build that can do everything. I really hope you guys are gonna be happy with the update. Since it wasn't that much to update, the build was already so good, and I see that by a feedback as well, that people think the same, that I didn't really upgrade much myself. I just forced those 2 items on myself, to be fair, to get some more defense. But did I really need it? Yeah, maybe in the party play, just so I'm not scared and I'm not evading my Rake, so it actually does damage. But all in all, I think the build is just so solid. Like, Sacred Flame already makes the build so broken. The Tangle Toe, this item is so broken as well. It's crazy for me to think how they nerfed everything else and then they added some stupid stuff. Like, this is so broken, it's crazy. But I also needed to make a video so I can kinda respond to people asking me same questions all the time, because you guys wanna copy everything 1-to-1. You don't need to. This build, I can guarantee you, and everyone that tried it will guarantee you, is broken as fuck, and you can do whatever the fuck you really want with it. The main idea is flat damage, blood barbs, and some skill ranks, and tangle toe. You can get better spear. I heard you can get better spear, but I cannot bother investing Mirror Plus into better spear when I already clear everything with spear for 15 divines. I really cannot bother. If you wanna do it, go on. No one's gonna stop you. Just personally, what I use, the way I use, is full personal preference. The build doesn't have personal preference in terms of flat damage and blood barbs. And that's all the yapping from me for now. Hope you enjoyed it, and well, if you did, leave a like, comment, share, subscribe, and let's go quickly on the breach boss so I can demonstrate you all one more time how do you do the setup when you don't feel like you have the damage that's enough. So here I am at Xest. I'm gonna just start him and disable elemental conflux and trinity real quick, in case for those that wonder if it's needed for damage. And now we do Curse, Stormlance, swap to the weapon set for Voltaic Mark, double Cry, and now we Rake him. We dodge the hit and Bloodcrown to expire it insta. And I'm gonna use kinginthemists to show you the slower, or I'd say faster damage setup, because we're gonna just ignore all the stuff we don't need, since we already have the gear. I also swapped to this, because I wanted to get the green bar to be green and boots because of the stats, but it doesn't really matter. Let's just put the curse on the ground, and how we do it now is just... we need to go away, because he's gonna do the AoE, we Rake, dodge this, and expire. Pretty simple, but let me show you again on the second phase real quick. So remember, it's without all the pre-setup, we're just gonna put the curse to get the aggravate. You could say I have blasphemy, and well, I'm gonna Infernal Cry even before he's being able to hit, so I won't get the bonus. I already have it. I will just Rake from distance, and well, we just look on that. Beautiful. Just slow, just wait till he bleeds out a bit, depending on how fast it's gonna move, of course, into Bloodhunt and dead. But having this setup in my particular version of the build, without shock before, means we're losing lots of damage value, like lots of it. So that's really important. Oh, and I need to re-enable my conflux and trinity, because I was wondering why I don't have spirit. I do them one after the other. Let's see what we got. Of course, completely nothing, so, well, that's all from me for now. Hope you enjoyed it, and see you on the next one.